Hi everyone, my name is Christy and welcome to day 556 of trying a new makeup product every day. Today I am so excited about the product that I'm trying out. I have here the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Foundation with hyaluronic acid that I just got in the mail from Ulta. This is a new product that I was so excited to try out. I ordered it as soon as I could because I'm obsessed with the other version of their foundation. So this one here is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. And this is my favorite foundation of all time. When people ask me for a foundation recommendation, this is what I tell them. So when I saw that Makeup Revolution was coming out with another version, I needed to try it out. So I picked this up in the shade F4, which is the same shade that I get this foundation in. So if you want to see my review on the Conceal and Define foundation, I will have that video linked down below. But so one thing to note is that right now the Conceal and Hydrate foundation is only in 16 shades. However, the Conceal and Define foundation is in 50 shades. So I bet that they'll expand the shade range on the Hydrate version, but since this is so new, Ulta only has 16 shades online right now. And so this retails for $12, which I feel like is such a great price point, especially for a foundation this amazing. $12 is amazing. To get a perfect foundation that's better than high-end foundations in my opinion for $12 is just all that I could ask for. But so this is cruelty free and vegan. It says medium to full coverage and it's for all skin types, but it has that extra hydration which comes from hyaluronic acid, which is probably my favorite ingredient to have in a product because it's hydrating, it's plumping, yet it's very gentle on the skin. So I love that this has hyaluronic acid in it. And so my skin type, I would describe it as combination, but more towards dry. So right now I just cleansed my skin. Normally I need to put on a moisturizer right away. I put on a hydrating primer, but for today I haven't added any products onto my skin because I want to just test this foundation out for that hydration as well. And so I definitely get dry patches along my chin and kind of along my temples. Those are the driest parts of my face. I do tend to get kind of oily along my nose and cheeks a little bit and then onto my forehead. I also have, as you can see, redness. I have large pores, especially along my cheeks and my nose. So I'm working with a lot here. And I'm very interested to see how this foundation will do with my skin, how it will feel on the dry parts of my skin. So let's get into it. And this is great too, it comes with a pump. So the Conceal and Define foundation has a doe foot applicator, which I like this, but still a pump tends to be a little bit easier to apply. But really, it's kind of personal preference and I don't personally prefer one over the other that much more. But I do know that people love a pump. So it's got that same frosted glass packaging. So I'm just gonna start out by taking, let's say, one pump onto the back of my hand. Oh, it's a more of a thin, liquidy, runny texture than I was expecting. But I'm going to start out with this much to just do half of my face. So I'm taking my dampened Real Technique sponge, which is what I always use to apply my foundations. And let's see how this does. One thing about the Conceal and Define foundation is that it does have a matte finish, which I really like. But for people with really dry skin, that can be drying. So it's really exciting that they came out with this hydrating version. And good, this shade match is still my shade. Sometimes you don't really know what you're gonna get, even if you're getting the same shade, but in a different product, they can be so different. But in this case, they seem to be the same. Wow, this has really nice coverage and blending out beautifully. That little bit of foundation really was enough to do this whole half of my face in a thin layer, where I really don't even feel like I need to add any more than that. And that's a very thin layer. Like, this has great coverage. Let me show you that difference. With a very thin layer of the Conceal and Hydrate foundation versus none, like that coverage. When it said medium to full coverage, I did not expect it to be this full coverage. And what I'm also very impressed by is how smooth it looks over my large pores. Normally, I would have thought that I need to put a pore filling primer on, and I would have thought, like, if I could still see the texture of my large pores, I would have been like, that's fine because I didn't put on a pore filling primer. But it could be that hyaluronic acid or just this really great formula that it is sitting so smooth over my pores. Like, you really don't even need a primer with this. You don't even need a moisturizer with this. You can save so many steps and still have perfect skin. Like, something that I'm really picky about on foundation is the texture on my skin. I don't want it to look cakey. I don't want it to look like there is anything on my skin. I want it to look the same texture as normal skin, and the texture is exactly the same with my bare skin versus the skin with the foundation. There's no cakiness, nothing. Like, you can, I love to do the close-up test. You can get so close, looking so close in this mirror. You could get a magnifying mirror and it would still look like there's no product on it. Oh my gosh. This right now is blowing my mind. It's perfect. I'm gonna go in and apply it to the other side now. Isn't it so satisfying just watching the blemishes and the redness just disappear? They did come out with a concealer version of the Conceal and Hydrate, which I am definitely going to want to try out after seeing how nice this foundation is. Wow. Yeah, it only took 2 small pumps to completely cover my entire face with full coverage. And I can definitely see some radiance to my skin. This has that nice, healthy, dewy glow to it that you would kind of hope for from a hydrating foundation. So it did not let me down in that way, but it looks like a very healthy dewiness. It doesn't look overly shiny, and it seriously feels so hydrating on my dry skin. Where my skin was feeling kind of tight before, it does not feel that way at all. It feels so comfortable on my skin. It doesn't feel like there's anything on my skin at all. It just feels so comfortable because that dryness is totally gone. I think this looks really good on the skin. And it's almost identical to the Conceal and Define, but if I had to be super picky, I mean, I would honestly recommend both of these. And if you have really dry skin, this is a great option. But I still think that I prefer the Conceal and Define just a tiny bit more because I feel like it looks a little bit lighter on the skin. You still get the full coverage, but with this, I feel like more so just on my chin and where I have some fine lines, it looks a little bit heavy. And even though it is a thin layer, I just feel like it looks like I have more of a thicker layer on for some reason. It still looks great and I will still wear both of these, but that's just me being super picky. I'm always going to be completely honest with my opinions. I'm really interested to hear what other people think of this new Conceal and Hydrate foundation. So if you have tried it, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on it. But so I am going to continue wearing this foundation for the rest of the day. So in the description box down below, I will put my wear test results. I'll let you know how this lasted, how it worked with my other makeup, all of that information. And if you have any questions on the wear test or anything about this foundation, leave them in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching my video today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see the makeup that I try every day. And I will see you tomorrow in my next video.